It is very rare that I find myself without words, and I am stunned tonight that we would take a vote before hearing the words from the mayors. We started this process sitting on that dais along with Chair Harrell.
Would like to provide an update to the board on the local option sales tax renegotiation.
And I'm just going to go over briefly with you the law regarding loss negotiations. The county has the duty to initiate the renegotiation process on behalf of all the eligible parties, to include the cities. On August the 31st, the city's position on loss distribution was presented to the county.
Back in September of 2019, Commissioner Holmes had asked both county attorney at that time, George Stetter, and myself to give a presentation on loss before these actual negotiations began. At that time, we talked about the current loss distributions because there was some concern about whether the cities were receiving the appropriate amount. We demonstrated at that point in time that the amounts were fair, equitable, and that everyone was actually receiving higher than their distribution percentages, but still well within what they should be receiving, where everyone is at the 66-34 percentile. But it really boils down to this. The major source of misunderstanding is we cannot agree on a percentage to determine what that distribution is that's fair and equitable. That for us, it makes 18.2% of our general fund budget. That's $37 million that we'd have to find to replace. Everyone would be faced with approximately 1 to 2 years of significant revenue loss.
The unincorporated is at 68.7% in 2020. The incorporated areas are 31.29.
And each year it progresses upward. Currently, right now,
17.4 million with the current 66-34, a distribution percentage, but that was based on the prior collection.
okay, so this would not be a loss, this would actually be a gain.
We will lose. Everybody understands going from 35% to 34 is a loss. That's simple math. I think elementary school children can understand that. When you start to reduce the share of our loss percentage, you start to take away from your citizens.
Okay, so Commissioner Wilson, would you like to put this in form of a motion?
Yes, ma'am. I'll make a motion that the board approves.
So we got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Oh, discussion. I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Stephanie.
Oppose. I don't know if you asked.
Okay, is anybody opposed?
I oppose.
Go ahead.
I would just like to say I haven't seen the county's proposal for distribution. As a commissioner, I think that we should have seen the county's proposal for distribution. I haven't seen that. Yeah, but we need facts on that. It's just been too many things that said tonight that, and I'm not talking about you necessarily, Sherry. What was the proposed, what was the county's proposed distribution amount? Do we know?
Yes.
Put that on the screen.
So, Commissioner Clemens, the initial amount that we presented to the board based on our consultant's review, the initial ask was an 80-20 split.
They haven't received this because this was something that Commissioner Wilson had asked you all to put together to say a few words. I'm going to.
First of all, we were insulted with the first presentation of 80-20. Now you're going to reduce us down from 34% to 20%? What even that was a slap in the face. I was here, some of the other elected officials was here, but staff said that that is where they had the ability to negotiate 80-20.
We have Mayor Sandra.
As cities, we have recommended that we go into non-binding arbitration because so far none of this has happened in the daylight. Because guess what? You say the city doesn't lose, but this would require that McDonough and every other city increase their tax base. But because the county wants more sales tax, in order for us to recoup from that, we would have to increase property tax. Not to have a public discussion about this is a problem. I am deeply offended by the fact that it would even be stated that the cities would somehow get together to try and make the county look bad. I can't even comprehend that. I would hate to think that we are somehow utilizing the projected dollars from Lost as a way in which to fund a judicial center, because that would mean that every citizen in Henry County would be double taxed.
So we are being cut. The tax digest isn't doubled. You counted as double, which effectively lessened us to 75% of a person, and that was not correct. We're not gonna go try to argue anything higher. We just want to keep it as it is, and that's what is before you now. Because if it goes lower, we're going to be the ones that are going to be cut. We're the ones that are going to be raising taxes. Everybody's going to lose money. Everybody's going to be raising taxes, but we're going to be cut drastically.
The county proposal will cause a large property tax increase in the city of Stockbridge from 7.25 million to 8 mills, 7.25 mills to 8 mills.
Yeah, I would like to. I sat here and I listened to all the mayors, and I agree with every last one of them. So I would like to rescind my vote and go with the recommendation of the cities.
Okay, you could rescind your vote, but it doesn't negate the fact that it still was 4 votes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just rescinding
okay. Okay. All right. So, David, can you put the slide back up that Commissioner Wilson present, or that you all? Sherry, how?
I would like to vote.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Clemens, I can't hear you because there's a lot of talking behind me. So
I would like to vote.
So can we be respectful and if you know, David, how does it affect the county leaving it the same?
So our cost of services continue to increase, and so
I'm asking him the question.
It passed, and I understand that we're staying basically where we are, and I agreed to it. And I think that's what we need to do for at this point in time. That's where we are. You gave us that proposal. Well, no,
we voted on we have what Johnny Wilson has up on.
What was your?
This is right here.
I'm trying to ask Johnny, what was his
That's it right here.
That's the one you proposed.
Right.
Okay.
That's
when
the
I
one.
saw him. Okay.
Okay. All right. So Sherry, can you repeat back to me what we're doing?
So that is a great question.
And to ask staff any questions prior to the meeting. I am interested in what it would, the resolution as is, keeping it the same.
And based on the 66-34 percentage, the county would give up about $3 million.
As requested, and any of the other commissioners, please get that to us ahead of time, because that will give us the opportunity, and I want you all to make sure that you keep an eye out for this information, so that when we come, that we're not, the questions have been answered, and it is going to be a vote.
So, Chair Harrell, there are no further negotiations scheduled beyond what we've already done. If I recall, in the resolution from the cities, Their resolution indicated that they wanted a decision from the county by tomorrow, which is the 19th.
We spent taxpayer dollars on legal fees.
Yes, because the arbitrators they will definitely have to be paid.